New Jersey. And that is the Spartan starting lineup offensively. For Castleton defensively, at end number 51, Jay Morgan, 6 foot, 228-pound sophomore from Georgia, Vermont. Also at defensive end number 46, Ethan McCura, 6'4", 262-pound senior from Granville, New York. At the tackles, number 91, Brett Denning, a 6'1", 260-pound sophomore from North Adams, Massachusetts. And also Mitch Boughton, number 99, a 6'1", 310-pound sophomore from Cooperstown, New York. Linebackers, number 53, one of the captains, Todd Carr, 5'10", 212-pound junior from Ticonderoga, New York. Also at linebacker, Romeo, 5'10", 190-pound freshman from Salem, Massachusetts. Also at linebacker, one of the assistant captains on the defense, number 1, Mick Wong, a 5'6", 180-pound senior from Hartford, Vermont. Also at linebacker, number 52, Michael Perrone, a 5'11", 225-pound sophomore from Lake George, New York. At the corners, number 9, Andrew Purcell, 5'10", 190-pound senior from Cherry Hills, New Jersey. And also at corner, number 12, Eric Minna, a 5'11", 192-pound sophomore from Wappingers Falls, New York. And at free safety, Tucker Stone, a 5'9", 167-pound sophomore from Hartford, Vermont. Tucker indeed is the son here in the state of Vermont. We realize people are watching from all over the country, and certainly Endicott fans are watching as well from the North Shore of Boston and other places around the country. But Tucker Stone, the son of the very fine coach here in Vermont of Hartford High School, Mike Stone, who's led his team to 3 straight Division I state championships. Tucker started off at St. Lawrence, played a lot last year, and transferred to Castleton this year. And I'm sure his dad, Coach Mike Stone, is in attendance. Tucker's brother, Sean, played at Norwich and had a nice career there. And Tucker himself played in the Shrine football game. He played in the Shrine football game between Vermont and New Hampshire 2 years ago. And as a matter of fact, there are other Hartford players on this Castleton squad, including we gave you the starting right tackle, Steve Latka. He was a high school teammate of Tucker Stone's. He played for Mike Stone at Hartford High School. Mick Wong, a defensive standout, a senior for the Spartans now. Mick Wong also played for Mike Stone in high school. So the band out there played the alma mater. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle from Spartan Stadium, looking forward to the opening kickoff in the 2013 season. Hard to believe this is a program that was born in September of 2009. And here we are. It's like football's always been here.
Oh, you know, it's so great being back here again at this beautiful facility. I just remember the opening day against Anna Maria, and it seems like yesterday. It doesn't seem as Castleton is beginning its 5th season, and we've been blessed just being over here and seeing just a bunch of great athletes, great coaching. Just the venue is, like I said, is beautiful, and there's no downside to being over here. That's for sure.
I'm thinking we could, no matter what time might show up, and I had everything all ready to go, and I wrote down the band director's name, and lo and behold, it was on the one piece of paper that was taken away from me.
It ended up with me for some reason. I don't know how that happened, but it ended up in front of me.
I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Well, we have an opportunity. Why don't we take this time out? We'll be back as our pregame show continues. From Spartan Stadium, it's Castleton, the Spartans, and the Gulls of Endicott College. We'll be right back.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
Why do students choose Castleton State College? It's big enough so there's lots to do, but it's small enough so that they can get involved in their classes and in clubs. in student government, theater, music, radio, TV, internships, and college and community projects that really matter. Castleton President Dave Walk calls Castleton a small college with a big heart. From their first day on campus, students feel a part of the community. Castleton offers more than 30 majors, career preparation, and the liberal arts and sciences. In every field, students receive personal attention from excellent faculty. There's a sense of community and lots of opportunity. For more than 200 years, Castleton has been educating students while changing to meet their needs. Technology, sustainability, internships, and community engagement are all part of a Castleton education. And the Castleton Spartans compete in 20 intercollegiate sports. Last year, 19 teams went on to the postseason, and individual athletes earned 79 spots on all conference teams, 6 All-Region awards, and 1 All-American mention. Spartan Stadium, the home of men's and women's soccer, men's and women's lacrosse, field hockey, and football, is one of the finest facilities in the state. Glenbrook Gymnasium and Spartan Arena have been beautifully renovated. Castleton is in central Vermont, near the best snowboarding and skiing in New England, and close to where you are right now. And with all these advantages, Castleton is affordable with costs well below private colleges. Find out for yourself how Castleton can make a difference in your life by visiting soon. Check out the web at castleton.edu.
Hello again, everybody. Back at Spartan Stadium. Mick Wong, Kevin Alberk, also Todd Carr, one of the captains. Todd Carr, the captain on the defensive side, and Andrew Purcell, the captains for Castleton, meeting the Endicott captains here at midfield as the captains came on ahead of the captains. Obviously, Endicott's been on the field for a while. The Castleton football team has not made its appearance here as yet. So we'll wait and see here for the coin toss. We do have the referee mic'd up. Castleton has won the toss and has deferred the choice to the second half. So Endicott will receive, going right to left as you look out. Castleton kicking off left to right. Castleton did defer the choice to the second half. And this is Military Appreciation Day here at Castleton at Spartan Stadium, and that includes, of course, members of the Vermont National Guard here as well. The Green Mountain Boys, the Vermont National Guard. Endicott College, located in Beverly, Massachusetts, the North Shore of Boston, as I mentioned before. People may or may not know, I've been here in the Rutland area for over 40 years, but I grew up in a town called Topsfield, Massachusetts, right next to Beverly, where Endicott is located. And you folks rooting for Endicott and you folks familiar with Beverly, Mass, I've been fighting it for years here. Beverly, Mass is the true birthplace of the U.S. Navy, not Whitehall, New York, which is a couple of towns west of here. I'm with you, you North Shore brethren. I'm with you. I know my history, and I know where the ocean is located.
Well, the other thing about the Boston area, the North Shore is such a beautiful area too. It's just, I mean, anywhere down around the ocean like that, but down in the Cape Cod, Massachusetts area is absolutely gorgeous. So they live in a fantastic part of the country, and God bless them, and thank you for clearing that up about the birthplace of the U.S. Navy, because
I've been fighting it here for years.
They got to take that sign down over in Whitehall. That's all.
It drives me crazy every time I see it. First time I ever saw it was like 45 years ago, and I go, what? All kidding aside, just before we go any further, there are 4 or 5 towns that claim to be the birthplace of the U.S. Navy, and all of them historically do have a right to do that. I'm basically saying that tongue-in-cheek for the benefit of people certainly watching us on the Vermont side here as the Castleton Spartans get set to come on to the field, led by Sparty. Castleton, as you know, a prolific offensive team, has been under offensive coordinator Jason Chalene, and before Jason Chalene as well, head coach Mark Klatt. And here come the Spartans onto the field at Spartan Stadium. In 2012, Castleton ranked 3rd in the nation in passing. Of course, last week, no different, throwing for 468 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Team averaged 18.5 yards per completion. It is a different quarterback today. As we mentioned, the starting quarterback is slated to be Tyler Healey. He's out of Brattleboro, Vermont. He played a lot. Again, for people that aren't from the Vermont area, there is a Vermont-New Hampshire All-Star game played every August. Several players on this Castleton team, and we mentioned Joey Picard on the Endicott team, played for Vermont in that Vermont-New Hampshire Shrine Maple Sugar Bowl game, including Tyler Healey, who was the starting quarterback, but he played in the defensive secondary in that Shrine football game and played very well. Vermont did lose the game 43-0, so you look at it, well, it was 43-0, but there were players that played individually well on the defensive side of the football. Of course, our cameras are located opposite from where the stands are in the press box. We'll have the alma mater from the Castleton Sparty Band and then the national anthem. We'll listen in.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
Why do students choose Castleton State College? It's big enough so there's lots to do, but it's small enough so that they can get involved in their classes and in clubs, in student government, theater, music, radio, TV, internships, and college and community projects that really matter. Castleton President Dave Walk calls Castleton a small college with a big heart. From their first day on campus, students feel a part of the community. Castleton offers more than 30 majors, career preparation, and the liberal arts and sciences. In every field, students receive personal attention from excellent faculty. There's a sense of community and lots of opportunity. For more than 200 years, Castleton has been educating students while changing to meet their needs. Technology, sustainability, internships, and community engagement are all part of a Castleton education. And the Castleton Spartans compete in 20 intercollegiate sports. Last year, 19 teams went on to the postseason, and individual athletes earned 79 spots on all conference teams, 6 all-region awards, and 1 All-American mention. Spartan Stadium, the home of men's and women's soccer, men's and women's lacrosse, field hockey, and football, is one of the finest facilities in the state. Glenbrook Gymnasium and Spartan Arena have been beautifully renovated. Castleton is in central Vermont, near the best snowboarding and skiing in New England, and close to where you are right now. And with all these advantages, Castleton is affordable with costs well below private colleges. Find out for yourself how Castleton can make a difference in your life by visiting soon. Check out the web at castleton.edu.
It was in a, I think it was in a newsletter.
We're back at Spartan Stadium getting set for the opening kickoff. The Sparty band, the Spartan band, led by Sparty. And Jim Shortle is with me. Your son was Sparty, wasn't he? Here?
Yes, he was, and he was the best one.
Is he Sparty today, by any chance?
No.
I hear you want to be Sparty before you want to be president of the class, right?
That's right. That's quite an honor. He had a lot of fun doing that. And it was he had a lot of fun doing it, and it was fun to watch.
Back deep, Anthony Carter for Endicott. As we look at the opening kickoff. The opening kickoff from Lineberger for the Spartans, and it goes out of bounds. And the penalty markers down. Robert Lineberger is a 6'1", 167-pound freshman, the kicker for the Spartans. And also back deep for Endicott was Cam Farnham, who was a freshman from Andover, Massachusetts. And they elect to take the ball at the 40-yard line.
Do you like the choice of deferring to the second half for Castleton?
Actually they're going to. It's at the 35-yard line, I should say, instead of the 40. Mm-hmm. So it's 1st and 10 for Endicott at its 35-yard line. Actually, the way the offense is and has been, I'd rather get the football right away. We have the whistles all over the place as we get things started here. 1st and 10, Endicott at its own 35. Endicott in the white and green black pants going right to left. And Castleton in the green and white numerals, the green jerseys, white numerals, and the gray pants. Brand new helmets, brand new uniforms this year. It's a 5-yard penalty going against Endicott. And so they'll have it 1st and 15 back at the 30-yard line. Now, again, the referee is mic'd, and they didn't catch what he said there. I believe it might have been illegal procedure here.
Yeah, it could have been. I didn't see any mechanic either. So, he just very quietly marched it back 5 yards for Endicott.
Drew Fournette, the quarterback, hands off to Walsh, who sweeps to the left and is bounced out of bounds near sideline, near the original line of scrimmage out to the 34-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and about 11 for the Gulls of Endicott. Spencer Walsh in the backfield, number 35. Drew Fournette, 6'3", 190-pound junior quarterback. And, of course, as you see a lot in Division III college football and college football in general, the wide-open offense is the pass complete to Greg DeLorco up at the 40-yard line of Endicott. Picked up about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Actually, is that correct? Right away, I'm wondering if that's the correct down across the way. They had 2nd down. Here's Fournette, throws far side, and it's complete. And immediately stepping out of bounds after making the catch was Brett Agizi up at the 48-yard line. No, it said 2nd down. I think it was 3rd down, was it not?
Well, I think it was a repeat of 1st down. After
I know they had that originally, and then there was the 2nd down
so
play.
That should have been 3rd down.
Yeah, it should have been, but right. That's a 1st down there after the pickup at the Endicott 48. Handoff straight ahead to Walsh into Castleton territory down to the Castleton 48-yard line. As that picks up about 2 or 3 yards, and Todd Carr on the stop for the Spartans. Picked up about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. The Gulls have it at the Spartan 47-yard line. Here's Walsh again, and he bounces it toward the near side and turns it back up against the grain down to about the 46-yard line. And a tackle right there. 3rd down, about 3. Endicott has it at the Castleton 45-yard line. Again, Drew Fournette out of the shotgun. And he throws incomplete. He wanted his man over the middle, Alex Mattis, and he overthrew him off his fingertips. And now it's a 4th down play coming up, and Endicott will have to boot the football away. Now, generally speaking, of course, you mentioned about deferring to the second half, and you got to think that the Spartans would go on the offense, but they did, I would say they were going to make a stop there, but it's 4th and close to 4, and Endicott is going for it. Fournette fires, and it is a diving catch near side for a 1st down. Down at the 40-yard line, Alex Mattis on the nice catch near side. So it was 4-down territory. Thought that maybe the defensive unit made a stop Jim Shortle, but it's Endicott picking up the 1st down. 1st and 10 at the Castleton 40-yard line.
Well, it's not unusual to see Endicott come out, and they're doing the no huddle, and which is very common these days, and they're just running a lot of plays, and they're very well drilled.
Fournette to throw, throws over the middle, and it is complete, but it's going to lose a couple back to the 43-yard line. As coming over the middle, it was Nate Lewis, a 5'11", 185-pound junior wide receiver. He was tackled immediately, but it lost a couple. It's 2nd and 12 for Endicott at the Castleton 42. 12:51 to go, first quarter. No score, Endicott and Castleton. Drew Fournette is the quarterback. Again, we talk about the wide open, the spread offense. Most teams using that nowadays. It appears Fournette will keep near side, avoids one man, and then runs out of bounds down around the Castleton 35-yard line.
Well, Fournette made something out of nothing right there. He didn't have anybody open down the field. The Castleton secondary covered all the receivers very well, and he gained about 7 or 8 yards on that scamper to the near side, and obviously Fournette showing his athleticism very, very early in the first quarter here.
3rd down and 5 at the Castleton 35-yard line. It looks like a legal procedure against Endicott. It is a legal procedure against Endicott. They'll mark it back to the Castleton 40-yard line. 3rd and 10 for the Gulls. The center is Ryan Morozak for the Gulls. 6'1". He's a 270-pound sophomore over the football. Fournette to pass on 3rd down. Throws right side in the flat. It's complete. Down to the 35-yard line. Nate Lewis on the catch, and coming over to make the tackle for the Spartans, number 51. And that was Jay Morgan on the stop. It'll be 4th down and 5. Again, 4-down territory if it was before. It's 4-down territory here. 4th and 5 at the Castleton 35-yard line. Fournette being pressured, they got him. I believe that's Mick Wong on the sack. It is Mick Wong out of Hartford, Vermont, the senior assistant captain on the defensive side of the football. That lost yardage all the way back to the 48. Lost 8 on 4th down. Here it is again, Jim Shortle.
And the thing about Castleton right there, they just brought the house on that particular play, and led by number 1, Mick Wong, who's been doing this since day 1 when he arrived here. He came here basically as a halfback, and he just made the transition over to the defensive side of the football and has done an outstanding job for the Castleton Spartans.
And it's not going to be Higley, the quarterback. It is Kianpour, who's out of Sousa, California. And the handoff straight ahead. We got some fisticuffs straight ahead there on the handoff. It went to Elias LeCount. And it is going to be 2nd down, a short gain. So we were given Higley as number 1 on the depth chart, but they switched it up on us. Actually, it's Well, what do we got? A timeout here? Actually,
Yeah.
They are just looking at the depth chart here. Kyle Kianpour is a freshman, 5'10", 161-pound. Again, a freshman out of Sousa, California. So he is the starter at quarterback. So we looked at they didn't know which starting quarterback. They did not announce it. And, of course, Kianpour was listed second on the depth chart as we got the starting alignment here. And so he is indeed the quarterback, not Higley on a Brattleboro. They did charge Castleton with a timeout. Kianpour fires and intended for Albert down around the Endicott 40. It was in behind him. It goes incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Spartans.
Well, it's the first game of the year. Obviously, both quarterbacks, Kianpour and Higley, are both freshmen. You're going to have some jitters, but, you have a coach like Mark Klatt's going to just let them know that they're there for a reason. And, he's one of those guys. He wants them to do well, who's ever in there. So after a few plays, you're going to see them settle down a little bit.
Kianpour, number 4, to fire. Downfield, incomplete. He wanted Albert. Yeah, that would have been a first down at the Endicott 38, but he couldn't hang on. It'll be 4th down and 9. See if the Spartans kick the football away. Michael Tonsko was in the backfield, number 28. Again, Elias LeCount was in the backfield. Looks like the Spartans will kick it away. It's Robert Lineberger. Freshman will boot it away. No score, 11:06 to go here in the first quarter. Looks like that's Nate Lewis back deep for Endicott, and this is going to come up short, and it's going to bounce out of bounds at the Endicott 38-yard line. So a short boot, and Endicott will go on the offense for the second time. So they'll have great field position, 1st and 10 at its own 36-yard line.
Well, you know what? This happens every once in a while. The ball just went off the side of the foot of the kicker, and this stuff happens. Just the human element.
Inside handoff to Walsh, and he scoots across the 40 out to about the 43-yard line. Tackled there. It'll be 2nd down, about 4, as the Gulls, with their second series, have it 2nd down at their own 43-yard line. Again, Walsh off the left side this time, and he bangs his way for a first down out near the 48-yard line. And on the tackle, Ethan McCura out of nearby Granville, New York. His dad, one of the coaches here on the Castleton coaching staff. It's another Endicott first down, 1st and 10. The Gulls have it at their own 48-yard line, going right to left here in the first half at Spartan Stadium. Again, a great crowd. The home opener for Castleton. Overcast skies, temperatures in the 60s. Fournette almost lost it. He's being chased, and he fires for his side, and the catch made down at the 40-yard line, and immediately stepping out of bounds for Endicott after the catch was Brett Geezy. Actually, Brett, we spell it E-G-I-Z-I. He's a junior, 185-pounder, and he picked up the first down on the first down play. Walsh gets it down to about the 35-yard line as Mike Perrone there on the stop for the Spartans and picked up close to 5. I'm going to say it's a Jitsi, I think is the correct pronunciation. I did go by with the Endicott coaching staff. Jitsi is number 4 who made that catch before. He's wide to the right. That picked up about 4, 2nd down and 6. Endicott has it at the Spartan 35. This is Walsh bouncing it to the outside as he takes it near side. And he backs his way inside the 30 down to about the 28-yard line. And it's another Endicott first down. McAdoo on the stop for Castleton. They mark it down at the Castleton 28-yard line.
Well, right now you're looking at the offense of Endicott, and they're very much in control of what they're trying to do. Fournette is a very good athlete, good quarterback, and that front line of Endicott is doing its job early on.
No score, 9-12 to go here in the first quarter at Spartan Stadium. Overcast skies. The sun broke through right around kickoff time. Fournette to throw, and near side, and the catch made, and down immediately. Mick Wong on the catch.
You can't cover any better than Mick Wong just covered that play right there. I mean, he hit the receiver as soon as the ball was against his body. It was an out route, very difficult to defend.
Here's Walsh again on the carry. Second down play driven back by a host of Spartans. Wong again on the stop. Denning over there as well.
Yeah.
Third down play. Here's Fournette. Looks to throw, and it is incomplete. He threw it to his receiver, Alex Mattis, number 81. He caught it at the sideline, but he was out of bounds.
Well, the receivers for Endicott really do get close to that sideline on the they do like a comeback route or an 8-yard, then a standstill out to the sideline. Obviously, Drew Fournette is a great quarterback, and he has great field presence.
Well, it's fourth down. They're going to go for the field goal here, and they're going to put it down at the 32-yard line. Slight angle to the right, a 42-yard field goal attempt. It is up, and it is good. Dylan Rush puts Endicott up by a score of 3-0. A 42-yard field goal, that coming with 8:05 to go here in the first quarter at Spartan Stadium. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle, Ryan Holmes is our producer. So it's 3-0. Endicott takes the lead with 8:05 to go in the first quarter.
Well, I think the way that Endicott was marching down the field, I mean, like I said, they were in control. The running game, the off tackle was working well. They were gaining a lot of positive yards. The defense of Castleton was not breaking at all. They played, tough defense, and I think it's a great thing for Castleton's defense right now that they only got 3 points, and that just shows the coaching and the experience that Castleton does have on the defensive side of the football, and I thought it was a great job.
Back deep for the Spartans, Kevin Alberk, and also back deep, Michael Totsko for the Spartans. .42-yard field goal, and that made it by plenty.
Yeah.
It will be Dylan Rush, who is a 6-foot, 185-pound senior. And back deep, Totsko and Alberk for the Spartans, going left to right here in the first quarter. Defense has given up a couple of first downs, but they have been okay here as the kick will go into the end zone. The Spartans will start it off 1st and 10 at their own 20. The defensive coordinator is Bo McDougall, who is also the men's lacrosse coach here at Castleton. And Bo is from Hartford, Vermont, as well, as is Mick Wong. We mentioned several of the other players. We mentioned Coach Stone at Hartford High School. Bo McDougall played for Mike Stone at Hartford, and so there's a Hartford connection with the Castleton football program. Here's Tyler Higley now. He's in a quarterback. Maybe they're going to go opposite series here. Higley out of Brattleboro. The handoff, nothing there. It's Elias LeCount, tackled immediately, and lost a couple as Kozlowski on the stop for the Gulls of Endicott. Well, I said out to the, of course, in college football now, it goes out to the 25-yard line after the kickoff. So they started off at the 25, lost a yard to the 24, so it's 2nd down and 11. That's rule change from a few years back. Higley looking to throw, and he fires complete to Alberk, and he's still on his feet. He landed on his feet across the 50 down at the Endicott 46-yard line. It looked like he was going to be flipped down to the turf. He stayed on his feet and picked up yardage into Endicott territory.
That's Castleton's version of the human helicopter right there with Kevin Alberk. Here we
Watch
are. Let's
this.
see it again. What a great play.
Stayed on
Look
his
at
feet.
that.
And before the Spartans can, as we take a look at the rest of the play, the Spartans, again, both teams line it up quickly without a huddle. Spartans had a 1st and 10 at the Endicott 48-yard line, but a 5-yard penalty for illegal procedure. Well, what a play. I thought he was going to be down.
And you know, it was overshadowed by the end of the play, but what a beautiful throw by Healey, and just because of the up front for Castleton, giving him time to throw right across the middle to Kevin Alberg, who I think is going to have a fantastic season.
That did pick up 29 yards. They're now 1st and 15 as the throw from Healey is complete near side, as the catch made by Kyle Mesha. And Kyle, number 6 out of nearby Mill River Union High School in North Clarendon, Vermont. A local product. Grew up in the Castleton area. So many Vermonters on this Castleton football team. That picked up short yardage, and it's 2nd down and 8. And actually picked up about 6 when it was all said and done. Healey to throw for the Spartans. Fires Alberg wide open, 25-20. Down to the 15, to the 10, 5. Touchdown! Spartans lead it by a score of 6-3. There's a penalty marker down.
Now you watch, when we see this again, here it is right here. You'll see Tyler Healey looking off his receiver right now and just fires a bullet right down the center of the field to Kevin Alberg, who just does the rest on his own. The nice burst of speed. He threw the Jets on after, and you know, like I said, these guys are very explosive.
And coming with 6:26 left here in the first quarter, there was a penalty marker down. It might be a personal foul against Endicott. That's Healey to Alberg for the touchdown. Kevin Alberg, a 46-yard touchdown pass.
If it is what I think it is, Jack, Alberg was in the end zone clearly. He was probably 7 or 8 yards, and he got pushed from behind. I mean, the play is over. Whatever. That's what it was.
The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Yeah. That, you know, and you know that the Endicott coaching staff is going to have a little talk with. Probably they'll address it as a team, saying, "Hey, you know, this stuff is ridiculous. We just gave up a touchdown. Let's not give up more yardage now. It's just not necessary."
Robert Lineberger, a freshman, in to attempt the extra point for the Spartans, and the holder will be Kyle Mesha, who caught a pass for 6 yards. Tyler Healey out of Brattleboro. So it was Kianpour who started off at quarterback out of California in that first series, and Tyler Healey here in the second series. So right now they've used 2 quarterbacks. The kick by Lineberger is good, and the Spartans lead it 7-3. Let's take another look at that touchdown pass from Healey to Kevin Alberg.
And just watch the up front blocking by Castleton right here. You watch Tyler Healey go back and look at the time he has. He has 2 or 3 passing lanes. He did have another receiver open. He did make the right decision. Throw it to the guy who was most open, I guess. But the up front blocking is what really makes this happen. And you know that the kids that are up front there that don't get a lot of credit, and we all know as football fans that this is where it all happens. If you don't, I don't care who you have in your backfield. You know, to an extent, you're going nowhere if you don't have any blocking. So you have to give credit where credit is due, and I know that's what I've been like for a long time. Is that, you know, you can make these great plays, and you need some help, and that's from the guys up front.
So the Spartans on the board. Of course, that spectacular catch by Alberg in that drive, the pass play that went for 29 yards and a first down. Barnum is back deep along with Carter. Lineberger's kick, and they did assess the 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. It goes into the end zone, and the line of scrimmage will be the 25. Again, that was a rule change, I think, 2 years ago in college football. Yep. And 1st and 10 for Endicott back at its own 25-yard line. Endicott going right to left here in the first quarter. So the Castleton Spartans, a tumultuous week behind the scenes. The Castleton football program has people know and playing inspired football here in the early going.
Oh, there's no question. It's just, like we said, it's like we just have to concentrate on the kids on the field.
Burnett throws and wide open across the 40 and into Castleton territory down at the 49-yard line after making the catch. Number 86 for Endicott. Jamison Kraft on the catch. Nick Wong on the tackle, and it's a first down. Picked up 25 yards at the 50-yard line. This picks up a couple straight ahead. That's Andrew Cross down to the Castleton 47. Again, not a lot of time. Todd Carr makes the tackle. Not a lot of time for kind of relaxing here between plays. Both teams just keep on going when it comes to running off the plays, and that looks like a first down carry inside the 40 down to the 38 for Andrew Cross for the Gulls. And here they come, 1st and 10 at the Castleton 38-yard line. Just a moment ago, they had it their own 25.
And the head referee had to speak with the left tackle for Endicott, and I don't think this is the first time he's had to speak with the young man. Hopefully he'll get the message.
Here's Burnett. He goes long toward the end zone. Incomplete, broken up in the end zone. As that was broken up by Mick Wong.
Two things.
And that was intended for Ryan Brannigan in the end zone, and it's going to be 2nd and 10. Go ahead.
Two things, Jack. Mick Wong made a tackle at about midfield, maybe the 45-yard line, that Endicott had already gained about 25 on, which they would have gained another 25, and then to go back and that touchdown-saving breakup right there.
Burnett, quick pass into the right flat, complete down at the 32-yard line, and that's Eric Mimna on the tackle. That was complete to Chris Lipscomb, a split end, a freshman. Lipscomb is wide to the right. That picked up about 6. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Endicott at the Spartan 32-yard line. Here again, the handoff, a big hole off the left side, first down as Andrew Cross picked it up. Todd Carr on the stop. So another Endicott first down. They have chalked up the first down, 7-3 Castleton with 5:08 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Here again on the handoff, it goes to Cross, sweeps to the left near side and bounced out of bounds. Purcell on the stop for the Spartans. It'll be a pickup of 4, 2nd down and 6. Again, we talk about Burnett, but it's a frenetic offense. Both offense, yes. Both for the Endicott offense and the Castleton offense. It's going to be marked down at the 22-yard line. Burnett looks to throw, and he does over the middle, down at the 15, down to the 11-yard line as the catch is made by Greg DeLorco and Todd Carr on the stop. And here come the Gulls, 1st and 10 at the Spartan 11-yard line. That picked up about 12 at a first down.
And I knew that was going to be a huge play for the Castleton defense. You had 2nd down and 6 at the 22-yard line, and Burnett again just rolled out. He made a really nice throw. I mean, it was I thought he was going to run it at first, but he'd rather just get the ball down the field.
Burnett looking to throw. He looks right, pumps once, moves to the right, throws, and it's incomplete. Broken up in the end zone. A nice play by the Spartans. Mike Perrone is looked like that was intended for Greg DeLorco. And nice play by Perrone as the Spartan defensive unit has given up some yardage here, but so far has kept Endicott out of the end zone. Endicott does have a field goal. It's 2nd and 10. Here's the pitch back again to Cross. Sweeps to the left, bounces off one man, but can't do it the second time. Looked like Wong was there again.
Yeah.
My, what a player.
And, going back to the previous play, Jack, if Burnett, being the good quarterback he is, I'm going to tell you right now, if he had another chance to do that, he would not have thrown that ball, because you could tell as soon as he released it, he tried to force it in there. Mick Wong made a nice play, or I'm sorry, was it Carr made a nice play?
No, Perrone.
Or Perrone, I'm so sorry. It was Perrone made a nice play, but that's the thing about QB is you can't force the ball in.
Fournette on 3rd and 9 throws to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Toward the back end of the end zone, the intended receiver, Chris Lipscomb, and that was a 3rd down play. It'll be 4th down and 9 for Endicott at the Castleton 10-yard line. Looks like they'll be trying another field goal here.
Well, and on that particular play, that was a nice throw. That was just excellent defense on the part of Castleton.
Nick and Prussia is the holder. Again, it'll be a slight angle to the right as on to attempt the field goal. Dylan Rush, they're going to mark it down at the 17-yard line. A 27-yard field goal attempt. It is up, and it is good. 2 field goals for Dylan Rush of Endicott, and Castleton now leads 7-6 with 3:31 left here in the first quarter.
Well, you know, it's like you said, it's 3:31 left in the first quarter. You've given up 2 field goals. And the thing about the offense of Endicott is they're very powerful. They know exactly what they're doing. They're well drilled. They have a tremendous amount of weapons, starting with Fournette as the quarterback, and the receiving core is dynamite, and the running backs are great. The up-front blocking is good, and they still have to settle for two field goals. That's a testament to the defense for the Spartans. And the other thing about giving up 2 field goals is that you really are taking pressure off of your offense too, because you're playing really good defense. We saw some great breakups down on the goal line and in the back of the end zone. Great defensive plays. Okay, so that gives the offense a chance to regroup again, go over some stuff that they might have missed the last time they were on the field, and like I said, just gives them a chance to go over some stuff and just prepare even more. It's still come back on the field ahead.
Getting set on after the field goal of 27 yards is Rush on the kickoff. Totsko and Albert back deep. Totsko at the 10-yard line for the Spartans. And left to right is a penalty marker down along the near sideline. Gets it out to about the 35-yard line. We'll see what this is all about. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle, Ryan Holmes is our producer. Brian Bashaw, Pete Davenport, our camera people here, our cameraman at Spartan Stadium. The view of the crowd across the way is holding on the run back against Castleton, and this will be a 10-yard penalty against the Spartans, who are in the dark uniforms, green and the gray pants, the green jerseys, the Gulls in the white jerseys, black pants, and the green numerals. And so the Spartans have it 1st and 10, and back in is the quarterback from California, Kianpour.
Kyle Kianpour. Long ways from home.
Kianpour. So far they've alternated series here, Kianpour and Healey, and the throw by Kianpour incomplete out at the 25-yard line. That was intended for Tyler Coombs. Tyler Coombs trying to come back for it and went incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Ethan Curtis comes in, number 39 for the Spartans. As coming out of the ball game for the Spartans is Soren Peltz Walsh. He is also from Brattleboro, Vermont. So Kianpour, the quarterback, throws out to the left flat, complete to Albert. Far sideline, stutter steps out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line, driven out.
And what a block by Tyler Combs. He waited and waited, and there must have been a verbal signal when Kevin Albert received the football.
There is a penalty marker down. It's a personal foul on a offensive lineman for the Spartans, and I know that the only time you mention offensive linemen for the most part is when they commit some kind of a penalty, but it was Stephen Latka. It is a 15-yard penalty. And what are they going to do here? They are going to mark it. It would be half the distance to the goal line.
Yeah, I didn't hear what the infraction was. Did you?
Personal foul.
I know, but did they say what it was, hands to the face or something. I guess it doesn't matter.
2nd and 18. The Spartans have it after the penalty marked back at their own 9-yard line. The touchdown pass from Tyler Healey to Kevin Alberg, a 46-yard touchdown pass for the Spartans, and a couple of field goals for Endicott still in rush. Castleton has a 7-6 lead with 3:13 left here in the first quarter. Watch it on PEGTV and around the world on the internet. PEGTV channel 20 on the Rutland Comcast system here in Rutland, Vermont. Handoff straight ahead, not much there, maybe a yard, as the ball carrier got driven back. It was Pressey on the tackle. It's going to be 3rd down, about 16. Spartans have it at their own 11-yard line. Here is the little draw play, and getting his way out to about the 15 before he was knocked down. That's Totsko. Michael Totsko. Picked up 4, maybe 5 yards. It's going to be 4th down and 12.
Well, you know, you have 3rd down and 16, and normally people would say, well, we have to throw it now. Well, I think they made a good call not to throw it and get almost half of it back just to get them up the field a little bit, because if it was an incomplete pass, it would have been 4th down back on their own 9-yard line. Then you obviously you're going to punt from there. So I think they gave themselves a little bit of breathing room and a much better kick this time.
Lineberger back to punt, and it's going to be Totsko that'll jump on it around the Castleton 47-yard line. Back deep for Endicott on the punt. Was number 16, Nate Lewis. So Endicott goes back on the offense, leads it, trails at 7-6, but leads the way here in possession time, as they've had the ball several times. As the screen pass is set up, we got a penalty marker down. Spencer Walsh made the catch and got back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see what the penalty marker is all about. Yeah, Endicott certainly has had the ball most of the time and has chalked up the first downs, but Castleton leads on the scoreboard 7-6, and at 31 to go in the first quarter. This is a holding call against Endicott.
Well, you know, the years that I've been fortunate enough to come over here and do these games with you, I've noticed that usually whoever has the time of possession usually wins the game or has a lead or whatever because they have the ball more. That's not necessarily true with this Castleton team, and it's been like this since day one. Simply because their offense strikes so quickly that they really don't have the football that much as far as, you know, time of possession. You'll see that game after game. So it really it's not that big of a factor. It's just a question of what the points are on the board.
Endicott back at its own 44, 1st and 20. Burnett is going to be sacked back at the 36-yard line, and there to get him on the sack, number 98, Jeremy Stevens, a sophomore that got in on the sack, lost yardage all the way back to the 37-yard line, and lost another 7. It's 2nd down and 27. Here on the handoff, Walsh bounces it straight ahead out across the 40 to about the 41. A few Spartans there on the stop. 3rd down. Actually, the Spartan defensive unit. Here's the sack again for the Spartans, and again Stevens on the sack.
Well, you know, Jeremy Stevens just said to Kyle Fournette, "You're not going anywhere." Obviously, it wasn't a textbook tackle with the hit and wrap, but it doesn't matter. He held on. He just grabbed him and didn't let go.
Fournette sets it up on 3rd and long, fires down the middle, incomplete. He overthrew his intended receiver down around the 45. That was Nate Lewis, number 16, who couldn't hang on, and it looked like he was hit by number 52, Mike Perrone, who's already been a factor defensively for the Spartans.
And we'll see it again right here. And just watch the height of this football right here. It's thrown kind of high. When you're coming across the middle and you have to go up for a football like that, you are just you're in a vulnerable position right there. You have a tendency to take a helmet right to your ribs.
Here's Rush booming the punt away, is grabbing it at the 12-yard line. Alberg near side. Alberg across the 20 to about the 21, returns at about 9 yards, and the Spartans will go on the offense. So Endicott has had the ball most of the time. Leads certainly will have the statistics coming up after the first quarter. Certainly leads in first downs. But Castleton on the 46-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Higley of Brattleboro to Kevin Alberg. And the Spartans have the 7-6 lead. Rush has kicked 2 field goals for the Endicott Gulls. Kevin Alberg, a junior from Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. It is Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
And we're glad to have him.
Yes, we are. Here's Higley back in from Brattleboro. Fires down the middle. Incomplete. Horse collar tackle, I believe. They're going to call it here. That was intended for Alberg. We'll see if they call it horse collar. I know he certainly didn't make the tackle because it was incomplete. But
yeah, the bottom line is that he didn't give Alberg a chance to catch the football.
They're going to call it pass interference, actually. 15 yards and I thought it might have been just for the hit itself, regardless of whether it was pass interference, but it's 15 yards and an automatic first down.
There was definitely a technique involved, and it wasn't anything, it wasn't malicious, but it was just bad timing. If it was a half a second later, it would have been a great play.
Tyler Higley back in. They've been alternating at quarterback, Higley and Kianpour. Higley looking to throw and being chased out of the pocket and comes far sideline, steps out of bounds around the 42-yard line. Picked up close to 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for Castleton going left to right here in the first quarter. One more play coming up in the quarter. Castleton leads 7-6 with 5.2 seconds to go in the quarter.
And I think that we're seeing 2 freshman quarterbacks here today for Castleton, and right now we're just closing in on the end of the first quarter.
Well,
like
as a matter of fact, there is
no
more plays. That's the end of the first quarter. 7-6, Castleton leading it. We go to the second quarter. We'll be back after this timeout.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
As we broke away for the break after the first quarter, we saw that play by Alberg. He did make the touchdown catch later on in that series, but that was earlier in the series where it looked like he was down. Right here, and he somehow stayed on his feet and picked up extra yardage. A spectacular play. 2nd down and 7 coming up for the Spartans. First play of the second quarter. Spartans going right to left. Spartans have it at their own 42-yard line, using 2 quarterbacks, Kianpour and Higley. And Higley in there now, throws it down the near sideline, incomplete. And there was some contact there, but it might have been a pass that they did not consider catchable. It was intended for Alberg near sideline.
Well, we have a penalty marker in the backfield
there is
here.
one in the backfield anyway.
Well, I was saying, Jack, and Castleton is using 2 quarterbacks, both freshmen, and it's very early going. It's just the start of the second quarter.
I got to tell you, I got to correct myself. I said that Endicott has the roughing the passer, so this is going to go against Endicott. Blow to the head. And the player has been ejected from the game, and Endicott player has been thrown out. Contact to the head. Actually, in the first quarter, Castleton actually had more first downs. I was just doing that off the top of my head. I thought Endicott had dominated that. What do you got? Time possession. Is that there anywhere? It appeared that Endicott had picked up more of the first
Yeah,
down.
time of possession is 10:24 for Endicott and 4 minutes and 36 seconds
so they
for
dominated
Castleton.
that. So they dominated in that department. I thought they dominated in first downs. Castleton actually had more, or I believe so. Yeah, I believe Castleton. Is that correct? You have the statistics there, as we have the statistics for the first quarter.
No, it's 8-3.
Oh, it is 8-3.
Yeah.
I'm reading the wrong.
You're reading the score.
I'm reading
That's
the
all
score.
right.
Yes, I'm reading the wrong one. Okay,
It's okay.
It's 8-3. That's what I thought.
No, you were you were absolutely right.
I'm reading the wrong score. I'm reading the score instead of the. And it is a first down for the Spartans after the player was ejected. The 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10 at the Endicott 43, and getting it down to the 40 is Elias LeCount. I didn't catch the player who was ejected. It happened very quickly. But a player for Endicott was ejected. It's 2nd down and 7 for Castleton at the Endicott 40. 7-6 Castleton. Yeah, and Endicott did indeed have a advantage in time of possession. Certainly a first down's 8-3, which is what I thought in the first place.
Yep.
But Castleton leads on the board where it counts. Healey on 2nd down steps up, and bang, he's going to be sacked. Looks like the player on the sack was number 44. Kevin Pressey for the Gulls of Endicott.
Well, the thing about Tyler Healey right now is I think he's making great decisions. He knew he was in trouble. I think he did have Kevin Albert down the field, but he just didn't have his feet set to throw down that side of the football field. Made a good decision to take it, and just a little bit of a gain, but not much there.
3rd and 11. That's a pass completion to Albert down at the 28-yard line. It picked up 15 on 3rd down. Healey finding Albert, and it's another Castleton first down. Curtis Manuel on the tackle for the Endicott Gulls, who are coached by J.B. Wells. As I understand, J.B. Wells' family is watching on the internet. We'd like to say good afternoon to them. As we take another look, Albert on the catch. He's had a whole bunch in this one this afternoon. The Spartans, a game effort leading at 7-6. Healey on the handoff, and not much there. As getting driven back was Totsko. And then again, Pressey on the tackle.
Kevin Pressey was not fooled a bit. It obviously wasn't a trick play, but he did the right thing. He, read and react. He took his blocker, met him head on, and just kind of shucked him off to the side, and that was the end of that play. It was just a great defensive play by Kevin Pressey.
And we have penalty markers down. Early going, second quarter, 12:50. We have some other stats in that first half. The first quarter, Jim, as we're underway here in the second quarter. 12:50 go in the half. What else do we have?
Well, for Endicott rushing, Spencer Walsh, six carries for 28 yards. Andrew Cross, 5 carries for 24 yards. Drew Fournette, 3 carries for 4 yards. In passing, Drew Fournette, 8 of 13 for 66 yards. Pretty good quarter. And I'll get to the rest after this.
Second down. That was a 5-yard penalty against the Spartans. 2nd down and long, and Healey underthrows his intended receiver down at the 30 coming out of the backfield, and that was Totsko. LeCount comes in, and yeah, I can write. Albert in that first quarter had 2 catches, 76 yards. Kyle Nasha catch 6 yards. Here now, again, the bubble screen coming right to left and making the catch for a short gain was Tyler Coombs.
Well, the bubble screen didn't fool Eric Dwinell at all from Endicott, the junior linebacker. He read that right from the snap.
That was a 3rd down play. It'll be 4th down, and it will be Lineberger back to punt. Looks like Lewis back around the 10-yard line for Endicott. The Spartans couldn't cash in. This will angle out of bounds inside the 10-yard line at about the 8-yard line. So Endicott forced back. Nice punt there by Lineberger.
Well, after his first kick, which went off the side of his foot. You had to feel for the young man. And then the second one he had was much better, and this was well placed. I mean, that was 100% by design. The kick, and he tried to go for the coffin corner, and he came up about 8 yards upfield too much, but still pretty good punt.
So it's Endicott back deep in its own territory and against the possession here as the handoff to Spencer Walsh gets it out to about the 12. Picked up about 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 as Walsh took it straight ahead. Burnett, the quarterback, throws complete out across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. That is a first down for the Gulls, as that was complete to Lewis.
And I did notice Ethan McCura coming off the field. It looked like he was holding his right hand or right wrist, and I can't see if he's being attended to anywhere.
1st and 10 for the Gulls. Burnett throws it complete to Walsh, coming over the middle. The big back pulls his way out to the 38-yard line. That picked up 17 and a first down. Here come the Gulls as Andrew Purcell on the stop for the Spartans.
Well, and Spencer Walsh is a sophomore. He runs like a senior. There's no question. He's mature far beyond his years, and he is one tough runner. He knows when to lower his pad so that he's not taking the brunt of everything. As a matter of fact, he's a big, strong kid. He's going to lower his pad. When the defender lowers their pad, you lower your pad and maybe dish some back out to them.
He picked up 5 there. 2nd and 5. Burnett fakes to Walsh, then throws, and a man open, complete down at the 17-yard line to the 15-yard line. After making the catch was Brett Ajitsi. Ajitsi on the catch, and it is a first down for Endicott. Here's Walsh now as he bangs his way to close to the 10-yard line. That's 1st and 10 at the 15. That was about a 41-yard pickup of that pass play before that. They're going to mark it at the 11. Picked up 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Here's Burnett now on 2nd down, looking, being pressured, and he throws it off incomplete. Safety valve there, Spencer Walsh, who was covered pretty well coming out of the backfield by Mike Perrone. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Gulls. 7-6 Castleton, 9:45 to go in the half.
And Jay Morgan's the one that just rushed Fournette. He kind of took him by surprise. Fournette was looking back. He already had his eyes locked on his receiver, but Jay Morgan just made it difficult for him and actually made a good play right there.
Pitch again to Walsh, and Walsh is knocked down at the 8-yard line. Over to make the tackle, Nick Romeo. So it'll be 4th down, and it looks like they're going to try for another field goal here. So far, 2 field goals for Dylan Rush. He's had a 42-yarder and a 27-yarder. Kevin Alberg has caught a 46-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Higley. This is going to be an angle to the right. They're going to mark it down at the 14-yard line. So DeRush will have a 24-yard field goal attempt to give Endicott the lead. Snap down, and the kick is up, and it is good. 3 field goals for Rush. And Endicott takes a 9-7 lead with 8:59 to go here in the first half at Spartan Stadium.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
All right, we're back at Spartan Stadium. Again, a 24-yard field goal for DeRush. 3 field goals for the Endicott kicker, and it's 9-7 goals. Here, the home opener for the Spartans. Spartans going right to left here in the second quarter. Endicott left to right as Rush will do the booting. Totsko and Alberg back deep for the Spartans, and it goes to Alberg at the 2-yard line. Speedster brings it toward the near side, and this time he can't quite stay on his feet after spectacular jumping over the intended would-be tackler as he did in that scoring drive earlier. There's a penalty marker down as he gets it out to about the 25-yard line. See what the penalty marker is going to be all about here. It appears it's against Endicott. Well, Endicott says it's against Castleton. I saw Castleton players point the other way.
What a shock, huh?
Everybody always thinks it's the other guy. Just like when you get in an accident, it's the other guy's fault.
Absolutely. You know, the thing about Kevin Alberg is
it's going to be holding against Castleton. So in this case,
it is, okay.
Endicott was correct in pointing the other way.
Kevin Alberg, 5'11", 180 pounds. Obviously not a big guy, but boy, I'll tell you, he plays like he's about 210.
I emphasize it's Richfield Park, New Jersey. For some reason, I thought it might have been Ridge Park Field, New Jersey, but I have a feeling it's Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, is it?
Yeah.
And what is the name of that town in California where Ian Poor is from? It's Azusa, California, correct?
I'd have to look that up again.
Is back in. Well, we'll have to look it up here in a moment. 1st and 10. Spartans back at their own 15. Elias LeCount, not much there as he squeezes off the left side to about the 17. Elias LeCount, who had a big game last week in the opening victory over Plymouth State. It'll be 2nd and 8. Tyler Bartow is in, number 89 for the Spartans. And receiver spawn also Tyler Coombs, number 22. Kian Poor throws incomplete. He threw it behind Coombs up around the 24-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Spartans.
You know, for the height of the football, I'm wondering if Kianpour thought that Coombs was running a different route because he overthrew him. Not only the ball was behind him, but he overthrew him by about 8 feet. And
he is from Azusa, California.
Azusa, California, and I just know he's much better than that to make that big of a mistake. And so I think there might have been a little bit of miscommunication there.
Incomplete there, up around the 23-yard line as he threw it behind his intended receiver. Like Tyler Bartow, number 89. And it'll be 4th down. Endicott will have pretty good field position here as Lineberger goes back to the 1-yard line to kick it away. It's 9-7 Endicott with 8:16 to go in the half. Nate Lewis back around the Spartan 48-yard line. And the kick is away, and Lewis calls for a fair catch at the 45. He might have been the... Now this, if we're talking about the pros here, it's either running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. There is a penalty marker down. Lewis called for a fair catch at the 45-yard line. And we'll see, what does this do? Is it a 15-yard penalty or not?
Well,
at the very least, they can kick it again.
Yeah, and if they give the mechanic that it's a personal foul, it's going to be an automatic 1st down.
I think this is the same case as it is in the, I would think, it's the same case. I mean, there's a difference between a personal foul, the 15-yard penalty, and just bumping into the kicker.
Right.
Let's see if we can. Yeah, it's the 5-yard variety. So it,
right. So it's not a personal foul because that would have been an automatic 1st down.
And they're going to tack it on at the end of the kick instead of re-kicking here. So it should be back around the 50-yard line.
Should be right on the 50.
So it's 1st and 10 for Endicott at the 50-yard line. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle, Ryan Holmes, our producer. We're at Castleton Spartan Stadium, the opener in the home season for Castleton. A non-league game. They play RPI at RPI next week, and then it's into the ECFC schedule after that. Handoff and dancing his way down to the Spartan 45-yard line is Kevin Pressey. Picked up about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Derek McAdoo there, number 21, to make the stop for the Spartans. Burnett is the quarterback. Both teams using that spread offense and operating out of the shotgun. Burnett looks and throws, and it is complete. It's a first down, but Wong really stood him up after making the catch. Jamison Kraft. Watch this again. Wow. Can he hit hard? Just a little guy.
He's not big at all, but boy, I tell you, he plays like he's about 50 pounds heavier than he is.
1st and 10, Endicott at the Spartan 38. Pass complete for about 4. Into the left flat, and that was complete again to Kraft, and again Wong on the spot, or on the tackle, as they spotted at the 34. It picked up about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for Endicott, the Spartan 34-yard line. Endicott in the white and green, the black pants going left to right here in the second quarter. Castleton in the green and white, and the gray pants going right to left. Tight end DeLorco, and there's going to be a timeout called. We got a timeout on the field with 6:47 left in the half. It's 9-7 Endicott. Let's take this timeout. We'll be right back.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
And not too much else.
We're back. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle. We're on NSN and PEGTV, Channel 20 in the Rutland area, the Rutland Comcast system. Ryan Holmes, our producer here. Mike Valentine at PEGTV. 2nd down, about 8 for Endicott. Play action. Fournette sets up the screen, and it is complete to the 30, 25, 20, down the sideline, 15 to the 10, 5, and into the end zone for the touchdown. Greg DeLorco is the screen pass to DeLorco, and he took it all the way. A nifty bit of running, and Endicott takes a 15-7 lead. And we got an injured player.
And here's the play again, and it was just so well executed. The up front blocking, the timing was there. A nice throw down the field, nice float pass by Fournette. Just well executed play for Endicott. And I think that Coach Wells took the time out and probably said to his guys, hey, I don't want to go down and kick another field goal. So let's do something a little different, and rightfully so, because their offense is very good. They're very well drilled. They're fun to watch. They have a lot, like I said before, they have a lot of weapons, and I honestly think that's why he took that time out.
Who was it's Mick Wong who's shaking up, but he is going off the field far side under his own power. Let's say a 34-yard touchdown pass on the screen, the tight end screen to Greg DeLorco, Fournette to DeLorco, and it's 15-7 Endicott. And here's Russian to attempt the extra point, and he bangs it home. It's Endicott 16, and Castleton 7. We'll take another look at it here. Little tight end screen. There's part of the crowd here at Spartan Stadium in the home opener. Here it is again.
Yeah, I mean, the blocking right here, you watch, you turn, And DeLarco probably yelled ball right there, so these guys all know they can just go down and block downfield. Now, look at the speed of DeLarco right here. That was impressive. He's a big guy.
Yeah, nifty bit of running
Absolutely.
after he got it. He's a tight end. And
he's a big, strong guy. And he
cut it inside there at the 10 and then managed to get it across the goal line.
Very nimble, very agile.
So Endicott with more first downs and more the advantage on the time of possession and leading it on the board 16-7. 3 field goals and a touchdown. The Spartans scoring on the touchdown pass from Tyler Higley of Brattleboro to Kevin Alberk. 6:35 left here in the first half. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle, Ryan Holmes, our producer, Mike Ballantyne, our producer at PEGTV, Brian Bashaw, and Peter Davenport, our cameraman. As the kickoff will go to Alberk at the 5-yard line. Alberk near side, looking for space, and he gets it out to about the 25-yard line. Drop there and by the Endicott bench. Endicott, the Gulls out of Beverly, Massachusetts, the North Shore of Boston. Mortis on the tackle on the special teams. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. Of course, I mentioned I grew up in that area, a town right next door to Beverly, Mass, Topsfield, Massachusetts. And I remember Endicott College when I was a kid, and it was all girls.
All girls,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
1st and 10. They're going to mark it at the 26. Higley back in, and a broken play. Is it a fumble? It's on the ground. Let's see. Endicott, I believe, has recovered. That's their indication. There it is. 1st and 10 goals. And there on the fumble recovery, it looks like, at least he's handing the ball to the referee, number 99, Marcel Cooper on the fumble recovery. Always said, if you're the guy that recovers the fumble, make sure after they unpilot, everybody knows you're the guy.
Hold it up.
I know you want to be a team player, but what the heck?
It doesn't happen very often. That this is the only other dream that a defensive lineman would have would be scoring a touchdown, which doesn't happen very often. But that was a great play by Marcel Cooper.
Fournette trying to make things happen on the first play after the turnover. He fumbles. It's on the ground, and I believe the Spartans get it back. They do. 1st and 10. Big defensive play, getting it right back. Castleton 1st and 10, its own 39. And it looks like Mick Wong was on. Well, at least he was the one that handed the ball off. I'm not sure if he.
Yeah, we'll probably we'll be able to see who at least got the ball away from Fournette. Because we'll probably see in a second here. But here we go.
Here it is again.
Right there.
Fournette lost it. That was number 58, I think, that hit him first.
Yeah, that was Nick Romeo. And just dislodged the football from Fournette. And
so
Fournette was actually,
defensive unit makes the big play here. They played well. I mean, I expected this to be a lot higher scoring than this. Still a way to go, obviously. 6:12 to go in the half. And that pass from Higley, short hops Coombs up near the 50-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Spartans, but they get it right back. A big play here. No turnovers in this game until the last 2 plays.
Right. I mean, that was huge right there. That was you talk about a momentum swing, and just the previous play was it 1 or 2 plays on the field in the fumble, and that was just a pure miscommunication on the part of Tyler Higley in the backfield. That stuff's going to happen, but you try to, you can't ever eliminate that, but you sure as heck want to minimize it.
This time a handoff goes to Totsko, and he's going to be wrapped up and driven back, and it's going to be 3rd and long. Is here to make the play Nick Kozlowski for the Endicott Gulls out of the New England Football Conference. 0-1. They lost to Framingham State in the opener last week. That lost about 4. It'll be 3rd and 14. Spartans have it back at their own 35-yard line. Spartans have gone with Tyler Higley out of Brattleboro. Going with him right now, and Higley's going to keep and slide out to the 45. It'll be 4th down.
That was a great play by Tyler Higley. He not only read the defense, he read the part that he didn't have anywhere to throw the football. And sometimes, you know, in the heat of the moment, or because it's such a fast-moving game, that you get a young quarterback in there and he might just say, hey, I'm going to just chuck it down the field and see what happens. Well, he had the presence of mind, because he did have some green in front of him, to go ahead and take and gain some yards back and also slide, which is a great idea.
Lewis back deep. It's going to be 4th down and 4. We mentioned Healey out of Brattleboro, who was the quarterback there, and quarterback in that play, and Kyle Kianpour out of Sousa, California, the two quarterbacks. And that hit a Endicott player, and the Spartans have recovered. The Cardinals saying, get away from the football. It hit an Endicott player, and the Spartans recovering. I believe that was Tyler Coombs. So 2 fumble recoveries for Castleton, and now they get a break as they have it in great field position. 1st and 10 at the Endicott 33-yard line.
Well, and you know that Tyler Healey wants to get back on the football field. He did, in the previous series, he did have Tyler Combs down by the sideline on the far side, and he just short-hopped the football to him, and you know that he wants to get that back and do it again, because he does have a strong arm. Believe me, he can reach 25, 30 yards.
Healey is back in a quarterback play action. Throws, wants Elberg, and it's intercepted. No, incomplete. It looked like it was going to be intercepted and then dropped almost. Another turnover there. Healey, that time you noticed under center. It'll be 2nd and 10. 4:41 to go here in the half, and Endicott with a 16-7 lead. Here is that play again.
And, I mean, you can see the arm strength of Tyler Healey, and just, I mean, what a great defensive play on the part of Endicott's defensive backfield. And it doesn't get any closer than that as far as getting tackled.
Healey complete to Alberg, and he picks up a couple of tough yards down to the 27. He picks up 6. It'll be 3rd and 4. And take another look. Who was that? Was it number 15 on the for Endicott? Trying to look at it again.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to give credit where credit is due here, because that was a fantastic interception. He basically he read the quarterback's eyes and just basically jumped the route almost.
Here's Healey, and he throws it behind Coombs. Coombs was going down the sideline, and he threw it behind him. It'll be 4th down, but you kind of wonder, is this going to be 4-down territory? I would think it would be. It's down at the 27-yard line, 4th down and 4 for Castleton. Endicott has a 16-7 lead, you see on your screen. And 4:08 to go in the half. After the game, win or lose for Castleton, R.J. Leet will be on our post-game show. R.J. and Dylan Carter, our Castleton interns, working with us and kind of observing things. So we got a timeout, Castleton. But R.J. will be down, and he'll be talking to Coach Mark Klatt, who is always gracious. He's been so gracious with all the turmoil behind the Castleton football program this week. As a matter of fact, the entire administration at Castleton, the coaching staff, and they've been terrific. And he will be humble in victory and humble in defeat as well, as we'll have him on the post-game show.
Well, you know, that's just the sign of Mark Klatt's character, because, you know, coaching football is one thing where you just drill into the kids how you just got to stick together. Things aren't always going to go your way, but he is one true class act. And I just know that I didn't have a chance to speak with him this week, but the way he handles things, he just tries to he wants to gather information and then keep things in perspective after that.
Certainly it is 4-down territory, 4th down and 4. Spartans have it at the Endicott 27 after the timeout. Count the backfield. Coombs and Alberg wide to the right, couple of wideouts to the left. Healey is going to be sacked. And Endicott dodges a bullet as they fumbled in their own territory, and they're going to take over on downs. Eric Dwinell on the sack for the Endicott Gulls, who go 1st and 10 at their own 36-yard line, going left to right.
Well, you know, that was a great defensive call from the coordinator from Endicott, because Tyler Healey didn't have a chance in the world to throw the football down the field. He made a good play not to try to just take it and chuck it down the field and risk an interception.
And the handoff, as Fernandez gone all the way at quarterback. The handoff to Pressey, wrapped up after about a yard. Picked up just a yard. Kevin Pressey, number 44. Second down and 9. 36-yard line of Endicott. Quick throw out into the flat, and nothing there for Ajitsi. Brett Ajitsi made the catch, but stopped immediately by Drew McAdoo. I said Drew. It's Derek McAdoo. I beg your pardon.
What a great read by Derek McAdoo. Also, I mean, that was just textbook tackling.
3rd and 11. Fournette sets it up and completes it out of the flat to the 40 and across the 45, but it's shy of first down yardage as that was completed to number 81, Alec Mattis.
One thing we have to keep in mind, there's 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in the half. Endicott, the way they drive the ball down the field, will probably try to use enough clock. Just keep in mind that Castleton gets the football in the second half.
They're going to go for it. That was Alex Mattis on the catch, and it's 4th down and short. Endicott its own 45, and we got penalty markers down, illegal procedure, and this is going to be against Endicott. And
that's a big play.
They have gone for it most of the time here, but that was earlier in the game, and 2:32 to go in the half, and it looks like they'll have to boot it away.
Well, you know, that was such a huge. This is such a huge defensive stand for Castleton. Like I said, they don't want them to get anywhere near the goal line. They don't want any field goals, nothing, because they're getting the ball back in the second half. I mean, they're going to get it back right now, barring any fumbles or whatever. They're probably going to try to put one in before the half, I would say, and then still get the ball back.
Of course, Castleton did defer, as you mentioned, and will get the ball. And you asked at the time, would we have done that? And, well, they know what they're doing. They're going to get the football. Alberg on the fair catch at the 17-yard line.
Here's my take on that, deferring to the second half. First of all, I think it says a lot for your defense. The head coach is saying we have enough confidence in our defensive unit that they're going to stop these guys, and then we'll just go on the offense the next series. But I think, especially, the first game and everything, I thought it was a wise choice to defer to the second half. And, we'll see how it plays out. But I think it was the right choice.
Tyler Higley back in at quarterback. He's out of Brattleboro, Vermont. He's a freshman. The Spartans with the freshman quarterbacks going at it today. And Kean Poor out of California. There's a throw, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off and down at the 22-yard line. Jake Cox on the interception. But there is a penalty marker down. We'll wait and see. Cox on the interception, so another turnover. It was a turnover-free ball game until about 5 minutes ago, and we've seen a couple of fumbles go Castleton's way. A fumble against Castleton, the interception there on the Cox interception, and there was a penalty on Castleton declined, so Endicott with a golden opportunity as Higley trying to force that one in. It was intended, I believe that was Tyler Coombs far sideline. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Endicott at the Castleton 24-yard line. 2:05 to go in the half. Endicott already leading at 16-7. Here's Walsh, and he bounces off left tackle to the 20, dropped there. Jay Morgan on the stop for the Spartans. Second and 5 for Endicott down at the 20-yard line. Play action, it is Fournette, and he gets it away, and it's incomplete. He did throw it in the general area of Greg DeLorco, got the touchdown pass earlier. That was Mick Wong that had him wrapped up.
You have a minute 35 left. The Castleton defense is just digging in their heels right now, and
they've played outstanding.
They really have.
This is a team. Obviously, it's a different year, but in different circumstances. But a team that put 66 points on Castleton last year at home.
Yep.
It's going to be 3rd and 6. Endicott at the Spartan 20, and we got penalty markers down. A minute 33 to go in the half. Illegal procedure, false start against the Gulls.
Well, Fournette made a nice play because they would have been back on about the 35-yard line, with time running out. I know they still have timeouts left, but certainly don't use them if you don't have to. And, they really like to get because Castleton is getting the ball in the second half. They want to score right now.
Third down and a little over 10. Fournette to throw incomplete and to the intended receiver, DeLorco, and he was kind of pinched up along the far sideline. Well covered there by the Spartans. It's going to be 4th down and 11. Let's see if Rush is going to attempt another field goal. He will. This one will be a little bit longer. Well, actually, he's already hit on a 42-yarder. This looks to be about 42 yards again. They're going to mark it at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, well, we saw him kicking before the game, and certainly this is well within striking distance.
Yeah, well, he's already hit from here. So
right.
And Castleton calls for a timeout. Minute 28 to go in the half. 16-7 Endicott, and we are going to have all the statistics for you at halftime. We'll have an opportunity to listen into the band, too, for a bit under Paul Caper. I found the name. It's the 3rd timeout for Castleton. I believe they have 2 left. Castleton touchdown, a 46-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Higley to Kevin Alberg. Rush has had field goals of 42 and 27 yards and 24 yards. He's going to try his 4th field goal attempt from the 32-yard line, again from 42 yards out. Also a 34-yard touchdown pass from Fournette to DeLorco for the Endicott touchdown. Brescia will mark it down at the 32, a 42-yard field goal attempt for Dylan Rush. Snap down, and the kick is up, and it is good. He's had perfect percentage in his 4 field goal attempts, his second 42-yarder, and it's 19-7 Endicott.
Well, if you go back and if you see that again, and if Dylan Rush comes on the football field again, it's almost effort. It's almost like there's no effort for him to kick the football that far. His balance and his mechanics are honed. He is definitely a talent.
That's quite a weapon.
Yes, sir.
Totsko and Alberg back deep. Spartans have plenty of time to get on the board here. A minute 24 to go in the half. There's part of the crowd here at Spartan Stadium, the home opener. Next week, the Spartans will be at RPI, and of course, they have 5 home games this year. We'll have all of them for you. Here's the kickoff for Rush. And Alberg at the 4-yard line. He has space, 25 to the 30. Jumps over a man across the 35, across the 40. What a return for Kevin Alberg, and what a game for the youngster. For the Spartans, he's been spectacular. 1st and 10, pretty good field position.
Well, and a lot of that was Kevin Alberg on his own. He saw the block. We do have the penalty marker down.
There is. Right on the run back. And here it is, though. Let's take a look. A nifty run back for Alberg.
He just has such field awareness. He looks for the open spot and attacks. And look right here. He's still...
I didn't quite. It was against Endicott. It's at the end of the run.
Yeah,
so
I didn't.
It's a 5-yard penalty. I didn't quite catch what the call was. Something about interference, but
I heard that.
Castleton will have it 1st and 10. Its own 47. Higley rolls to the left. The freshman from Brattleboro fires complete near side. Alberg is knocked out of bounds after making the catch at the Endicott 36-yard line.
And what great blocking by the up front for the Spartans. They gave Tyler Healey enough room. He watched Albert coming across the field. He cleared his defender and just threw a strike, hit him right in the numbers. Nice job.
What a 25-yard pickup on that pass completion from Healey to Albert. Under a minute to go as the pass goes incomplete. It was delivered in behind the intended receiver, T.J. Wallace. It'll be 2nd and 10. Spartans have it at the Endicott 36. Again, the Spartans will get the second half kickoff. Tyler Healey. The inside handoff, Totsko, and they had that one all snuffed out. Didn't fool anybody.
I got to tell you.
And on the tackle was Craig Anderson.
The run defense for Endicott is outstanding. They don't get fooled on anything.
Lost yardage back to the 37 as Healey throws, and it is intercepted. And returned back. That's the second interception by Cox. And he intercepted the pass before, and another turnover. The turnovers really piled up here toward the end of the half. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Endicott with 26.7 seconds to go in the half. It's the interception right there. Nice job on the interception by Cox. Juggled it. He's a junior. Gathered it in. It's going to be out at the 31-yard line as we see the return. They're going to take a knee here. And they're going to let the time run out here, and Castleton will be getting the second half kickoff. The band will be entertaining. We'll have all the stats for you as well. A pretty good ball game. One more, it still has a chance to be high scoring. Certainly, Endicott's put 19 on the board, but somehow I expected more scoring than this, even more than it is now. We are at halftime at Spartan Stadium. At halftime, our score: Endicott 19 and Castleton 7. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back in a couple here at halftime at Spartan Stadium.
Why do students choose Castleton State College? It's big enough so there's lots to do, but it's small enough so that they can get involved in their classes and in clubs, in student government, theater, music, radio, TV, internships, and college and community projects that really matter. Castleton President Dave Walk calls Castleton a small college with a big heart. From their first day on campus, students feel a part of the community. Castleton offers more than 30 majors, career preparation, and the liberal arts and sciences. In every field, students receive personal attention from excellent faculty. There's a sense of community and lots of opportunity. For more than 200 years, Castleton has been educating students while changing to meet their needs. Technology, sustainability, internships, and community engagement are all part of a Castleton education. And the Castleton Spartans compete in 20 intercollegiate sports. Last year, 19 teams went on to the postseason, and individual athletes earned 79 spots on all conference teams, 6 all-region awards, and 1 All-American mention. Spartan Stadium, the home of men's and women's soccer, men's and women's lacrosse, field hockey, and football, is one of the finest facilities in the state. Glenbrook Gymnasium and Spartan Arena have been beautifully renovated. Castleton is in central Vermont, near the best snowboarding and skiing in New England, and close to where you are right now. And with all these advantages, Castleton is affordable with costs well below private colleges. Find out for yourself how Castleton can make a difference in your life by visiting soon. Check out the web at castleton.edu.
I choose Castleton.
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
Why do students choose Castleton State College? It's big enough so there's lots to do, but it's small enough so that they can get involved in their classes and in clubs. In student government, theater, music, radio, TV, internships, and college and community projects that really matter. Castleton President Dave Walk calls Castleton a small college with a big heart. From their first day on campus, students feel a part of the community. Castleton offers more than 30 majors, career preparation, and the liberal arts and sciences. In every field, students receive personal attention from excellent faculty. There's a sense of community and lots of opportunity. For more than 200 years, Castleton has been educating students while changing to meet their needs. Technology, sustainability, internships, and community engagement are all part of a Castleton education. And the Castleton Spartans compete in 20 intercollegiate sports. Last year, 19 teams went on to the postseason, and individual athletes earned 79 spots on all conference teams, 6 All-Region awards, and 1 All-American mention. Spartan Stadium, the home of men's and women's soccer, men's and women's lacrosse, field hockey, and football, is one of the finest facilities in the state. Glenbrook Gymnasium and Spartan Arena have been beautifully renovated. Castleton is in central Vermont, near the best snowboarding and skiing in New England, and close to where you are right now. And with all these advantages, Castleton is affordable with costs well below private colleges. Find out for yourself how Castleton can make a difference in your life by visiting soon. Check out the web at castleton.edu.
Choose Castleton.
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Score after one in the second quarter with 8:59 to go in the half. Dylan Rush again would kick a field goal. This one officially now 25 yards out. 84 yards in 9 plays was the drive in 2 minutes 42 seconds as Endicott would take a 9-7 lead. With 6:35 to go in the first half, it would be Drew Fournette hooking up on a 35-yard touchdown pass to Greg DeLorco. And that would put the Gulls up 15-7. Rush with the extra point to make it 16-7. As the Gulls went 50 yards in 4 plays. It took 1 minute and 32 seconds. And then toward the tail end of the second quarter, with 1 minute 24 to go in the half, it would be Dylan Rush again. His second 42-yard field goal of the game. His 4th of the game overall. And that would make it 19-7. 4 yards, 1 play, 41 seconds. And Dylan Rush has the 4 field goals, and we had that record of field goals for Division III. The record for field goals in the game is 6, set back in 1984. Jim Heaver of Rhodes against Millsaps. That's the Division III record, 6 field goals, and Rush has 4 already in the first half. First downs, Endicott has 13, Castleton 6. In the total offensive plays, Endicott 47, Castleton 37. Let's see, the fumbles lost. Endicott has lost 2. Castleton's lost 1. Endicott has a couple of pass interceptions, both by the safety Jake Cox. And in the rushing department, Spencer Walsh, 11 rushes, 48 yards for Endicott. Cross has rushed for 24 yards on 5 carries. And for the Spartans, Totsko has rushed 4 times for only 3 yards net. Elias LeCount 5 times for 2 yards. They really have nothing going in the rushing department. Tyler Higley, the freshman from Brattleboro, 7 of 14, 2 interceptions, 122 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Kianpour, the freshman from Azusa, California, is 0 for 5. Alberg, 5 catches, 116 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Mesha has a catch for 6 yards. Tyler Coombs a catch and for no yards gained. And on the receiving side for Endicott, first off, Drew Fournette is 16 of 24, 187 yards and a touchdown. And Nate Lewis, 4 catches, 17 yards. Brett Ajitsi has 3 catches, 51 yards. Jamison Kraft, 3 catches, 36. DeLorco, 2 catches, 44, and a touchdown. And so Endicott really does have the edge in these statistical categories, as well as, of course, on the scoreboard. First downs, 13-6. And if I remember, and I said earlier in the game, it appeared this was when Castleton was on the board, leading at the time 7-3. Endicott really had most of the possession time, and it's been closed down a little bit, but 17 minutes, 46 seconds. Time of possession, Castleton 12 minutes, 14 seconds.
Well, you know, it goes back to what we said earlier, that with Castleton, a lot of times they may be ahead. Obviously, they're not right now, but there's so many times where they are ahead in the opposition, whether it's Mount Ida, SUNY Maritime, it doesn't matter, might have more possession time, but a lot of times Castleton is on top because they score so quickly. But I just, I look back and I see, in the first quarter it was 10-24 to 4:36, and now at halftime 17-46 to 12-14. So yeah, it's starting to close in a little bit. But I go back to the quarterbacks, the Castleton quarterbacks. Like I said, they're both freshmen. They're going to make their mistakes. And this is a very good Endicott team. Like I said, they were picked to win their division. And I think it's a great challenge for both Kianpour and also Higley to see what they can do. And right now, obviously Tyler Higley has an edge. He's been out on the field a little bit more than Kyle Kianpour has been on there. And so we'll see what happens. But I think what's going to happen is we'll probably see Higley a little bit more the second half.
We'll have the second half kickoff coming up. The Spartans will get the second half kickoff. Jack Healey, Jim Shortle, Ryan Holmes, our producer. Michael Valentine, our producer at PEGTV, Channel 20 on the Rutland, Vermont Comcast system. And Brian Bashaw and Peter Davenport, our cameramen here at Spartan Stadium. R.J. Leet, Dylan Carter are here as well to help us out. R.J. will be working on the post-game show and interview with Castleton coach Mark Klatt. We'll take this time out. Second half action coming up. Well, we're back at Spartan Stadium. That's part of the crowd. I just kind of mingled in with the crowd a little bit a few minutes ago, and they were in a festive mood. The opening game, weather is good. We do have overcast skies, but pretty good ball game with Endicott out in front by a score of 19-7. The Endicott Gulls, New England Football Conference, and so far the big part of I think there were a couple of storylines early. Dylan Rush with 4 field goals, 2 of them from 42 yards out. Kevin Alberg has played a nice game. And the battle of the freshman quarterbacks for the Spartans all week long, the speculation, who would be the starting quarterback? And on the depth chart, it was given to us as Tyler Higley. As it turned out, Kyle Kianpour started, but they pretty much alternated, even though Higley has had most of the snaps of late. He has thrown a couple of interceptions, but he has thrown a touchdown pass, and they are only going to get better. Both of them freshmen. And Alberk, of course, one thing with the situation for the Spartans, as Coach Jason Shalene had told me earlier in the week, the offensive coordinator, they are very deep in the wide receiver department. So they have a whole bunch of very good wide receivers. Alberk leading the way today.
Well, the thing about Kevin Alberk, first of all, he's only a junior. And he's just had an outstanding half of football so far today. So you take the leadership of the coaching staff, starting with Mark Klatt, and I've seen some real leadership on the field so far. And what they're doing now is they just have to make adjustments, which they do very well. You take, like I said, Kevin Alberk is a junior. You take the two freshman quarterbacks that are I think they're both playing well. Their stats aren't exactly the same, but I've seen, kind of reading between the lines, what they're trying to do. And obviously for Kyle Kianpour, would love to have his stat be 5 for 5 with a couple of touchdowns, but it doesn't happen. I think he might have tried to force a couple of balls, and but like I said, this is a learning curve for both these QBs. But there's definitely, if they keep their head on straight, which I'm pretty sure they will, and just stick with each other and everybody sticks together, Castleton's going to be another force to be reckoned with.
I think all in all, and certainly a ways to go here. One thing I've been impressed with, and we talked about it quite a bit, certainly Endicott had the statistical advantage and time of possession, first downs, and so forth. But all in all, over the time of the Castleton football program here since 2009, a team that's been able to put points on the board, and a team that on the defensive side might be lacking just a bit in the sense they give up a lot of points. Now, they did only lose one game in league play last year, but it seems to me that they have really improved offensively. Of course, Mick Wong has had a big game here for the Spartans today, and they have to be very pleased with the defensive effort today. Certainly a ways to go here, and there are 19 points for Endicott, but 4 of them, 4 field goals, 12 of the 19 points have been on field goals, so they've kept them out of the end zone for the most part. Castleton going right to left here in the third quarter. Endicott left to right. Endicott will be kicking off. It'll be Dylan Rush, Totsko, and Alberk back deep, and we'll see what happens here in the second half. And this will go to Alberk at the 3-yard line. Brings it to the right to the 20 and out to about the 23-yard line, and that's where the offense will get things started here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 Spartans at their own 23-yard line. Interesting story on Tyler Higley. He's from Brattleboro, freshman quarterback. We'll see which quarterback will come in this time. It will be Higley. He played in the Vermont, New Hampshire Shrine football game. We've mentioned it, the All-Star game played every August, and he was a very good player in that game, but he played in the secondary. He was a safety throughout the game. He did not play a quarterback, but he is getting the starting not a quarterback here in the second half. Number 14 out of Brattleboro. The account on the call off the left tackle, and he scoots across the 25 to about the 26-yard line, picked up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Spartans.
Well, they picked up 3. Like you said, it's going to be 2nd and 7. I think there was a miscommunication in the backfield on that particular play, but it was good. It was a gain.
Trips right now for the Spartans as Higley operates out of the shotgun, and the completion to Alberk awfully close to first down yardage. Needed 7, picked up just about 7. As we'll see where they mark it here. It is a first down. They mark it out to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. Give them 8 on the pickup from Higley to Alberk. Here's Elias LeCount again off the left side. And he picks up about 3 to the 37. It'll be 2nd and 7. Marcel Cooper on the stop for the Gulls of Endicott. I almost said earlier, I love the nicknames that are appropriate for Endicott's right on the ocean. The Gulls. I love that name.
Absolutely.
Here's Higley, and he throws far side, complete across the 45 to about the 48-yard line on the catch. Soren Peltz Walsh, and he's another guy from Brattleboro. Silva on the tackle. Picked up 11 and a first down. Soren Pels-Walsh.
Well, early in the third quarter here, Tyler Higley has thrown 2 really good footballs so far. You can see him starting to settle in a little bit, trusting his receivers and certainly trusting his front line.
And Higley's going to keep into Endicott territory, avoids one man, and then ridden out of bounds near side, right around the Endicott 45. Picked up 6, maybe 7 yards, so the Spartans looking to cash in here on the first series. It'll be 2nd and 4 at the Endicott 45-yard line. Tyler Bartow is in, number 89. And then spot Higley over the middle. Soren Pels-Walsh down at the 33. Fumbled the football, but is he down? We'll see. I think he was down. Oh, they're going to say a fumble. Oh, my goodness. Mark Klatt is out on the field saying it was down, and I tend to agree. That would have been a first down, a 12-yard pickup. Let's take another look at it here. He didn't let go of that football until it hit the turf. I think the ground caused that ball to be coughed up. And
absolutely.
They call it a fumble, and Endicott has it. 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line as the handoff off the left side. Now Walsh, he took it up the middle and then toward the far sideline. Good yardage, picked up about 11 out to the Endicott 45. Mark Klatt was out on the field, said it. That's Derek McAdoo on the tackle for the Spartans. 1st and 10, Endicott, their own 45. And big call in this ball game. The Spartans were driving, would have picked up a first down there. It appeared that was not a fumble. And here's a penalty marker. We'll take another look at it. And certainly we don't want to be here where we're... I take pride in... objectivity is a very important word to me, and certainly whichever way it went, I certainly would go that way. I don't want to say no matter what it went against Castleton, but that looked to me that it did go against Castleton. The penalty against Endicott back at the 40, 1st and 15, and Fournette is going to keep. He's got some room to the 50, to the Castleton 48-yard line, and he did a nice job of turning it upfield and had some space. Eric Mimnaugh on the tackle for the Spartans. Mimnaugh, the sophomore, picked up good yardage. It picked up about 12. It'll be 2nd and 3. Endicott at the Castleton 48-yard line. Endicott the 19-7 lead with 12:20 to go in the third quarter. Net on the handoff to Walsh, and he bangs his way, still on his feet, inside the 40-35, down at the 31-yard line. He picks up 16 and an Endicott first down. And McAdoo again on the tackle. It's 1st and 10, Endicott at the Castleton 31-yard line. Endicott going left to right here in the third quarter, just under 12 minutes to go in the quarter. Endicott has a 19-7 lead. And
Spencer Walsh is just one tough runner. He's north-south, there's no question. Big, strong, and they're giving him a little break right now.
And this time, nothing there for number 44. Kevin Pressey, who had a couple of carries in the first half. He can get back to the line of scrimmage. And in fact, he lost about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. Endicott at the Castleton 32. Fournette looking to throw. Shoots it down the middle. It's complete down at the 20-yard line. Making the catch, it was Ryan Brannigan. Sophomore split in. Tackled by Mick Wong. Picked up about 12 and a first down. 1st and 10, Endicott, the Spartan 20. They're on the move after the fumble recovery. Walsh straight ahead. Huge hole down to the 16. An offensive line for the Gulls opening up some holes. Got Marini, Fullmine. Also Morosek, who is the center. Minerva. Got Scanis along that offensive line, 2nd and 7. Fournette, penalty markers down, wide open, end zone, touchdown, Jamison Kraft, but we'll see what the penalty marker's all about. It's going to be illegal procedure against Endicott. They will wipe it off the board. To my left, the assistant coach is up here in the press box, and they saw it right away, and they were up and down jumping. It's illegal formation, actually, is what they call, so wipe it off the board.
And, the Castleton defense, which wasn't expecting to be on the field because of the so-called fumble. But anyway, there's just a miscommunication in the defensive backfield, and nobody should be that wide open, and the Castleton defense just dodged a bullet.
2nd and 12 for Endicott. The Castleton 22. The pitch to Walsh. He's upended at the 19. Picked up about 3. Over on the tackle, that looked like number 21, Derek McAdoo. It's going to be 3rd down, a little less than 10 for the Gulls of the Spartan 19.
Well, this is a big play for the Castleton defense, because if they hold them now, they might have to bring the field goal unit back on, but let's wait and see.
Long count, 6 on the clock here. Burnett, play action, steps up, fires, great catch, touchdown, nice catch for the touchdown. And that time, Jamison Kraft gets it before he got the touchdown that was wiped off the board, and that is a 19-yard touchdown pass from Fournette to Kraft. It's 25-7 Endicott.
And we'll see this again after the extra point, but I can tell you right now that this was nothing more than this was just a laser. Drew Fournette just absolutely threw a laser.
And here is Russian to attempt the extra point. Snap down, and the kick is good. And Endicott takes a 26-7 lead with 9:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. Here it is again. Fournette to Kraft for the touchdown.
You see, he already has his mind made up where he's going to go with it. Watch this. Watch the mechanics. Great protection. Just throws an absolute bullet to Jamison Kraft. Went up. It was perfectly thrown. It was just above his helmet. Just went up, looked the ball right in. Touchdown, Endicott.
They had a touchdown pass earlier, Fournette to Kraft in that series. A few plays before that, wiped off the board, but they connect on that. Nice catch and nice throw.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he's definitely a leader on this Endicott, not just the offense, but the team in general. Drew Fournette is a very good athlete.
He's a 6'3", 190-pound junior. He's from New Bedford, Massachusetts. 26-7 Endicott with 9:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. Totsko and Alberk back deep, and here is the boot. And this will go to Alberk at the 6-yard line. He's been busy, far side, space, 25, 30, 35, out to about the 38-yard line. Alberk has been a busy man on the stop. Curtis Manuel on the special teams for the Endicott Gulls. So 1st and 10 for Castleton. I'm Jack Healey, Jim Shortle on board. Jim Shortle, the quarterback of the 1976 Division I state champion Mount St. Joseph Academy Mounties here in the state of Vermont. And I will say it again. In my opinion, the best high school football team ever in the state. I say ever.
Well, I appreciate that. I know there's somebody up north that disagrees with you, but
hey, it's all a matter of opinion, but that's my opinion. Here's the throw complete out across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Tyler Coombs on the catch. Picked up a little bit less than 10 yards. It'll be 2nd down and short. Cox has got a couple of interceptions on the stop for the Gulls, as Higley has pretty much seen all the action at quarterback of late. Higley on 2nd and short is going to keep, and he is going to get the 1st down out at the 50-yard line.
You know, another great decision by Tyler Healey not to force the ball down the field. You know, you have 9 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third quarter. You know, you're down by 2 scores. You know, this isn't time to start, you know, what we call the hope ball. You know, this is time. So he's made some really great decisions so far.
And this is short yardage for Elias LeCount. Just squeezes his way to Endicott territory down at the 49. 2nd down and 9. Stop made by Maldonado. T.J. Wallace, the tight end, number 82, wide to the right. Tyler Coombs, number 22. Also, Soren Peltz-Walsh is wide to the left for the Spartans. 2nd down, 9. It's Healey moving to the left, throws down the near side. It's incomplete, way out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down and 9 coming up for the Spartans, the Endicott 49-yard line. By the way, for people that are not from the Vermont area, Mount St. Joseph Academy, where Jim played quarterback, a parochial school here in nearby Rutland, Vermont. I'm talking about the best high school team ever in the state of Vermont. I want to say the whole country, but I can't go that far. Remember what I said about objectivity?
That's right. You get flooded with emails.
Might anyway.
You might.
Healey bounces to the near side. Healey being chased, and Healey is going to be run out of bounds after picking up maybe a yard down at the Endicott 48. The trouble with people talking about greatest player or greatest team and all that, obviously it's a matter of opinion. You know, I mean, even if you know, most people think Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever, but it's still a matter of opinion. But people forget to look at beyond 5 years ago.
It's
always like what happened recently. So
yeah. Well, you know, you look at some of those films. I'll finish this after.
Lineberger is going to punt on 4th down, and fair catch is called at the 20-yard line by Nate Lewis, and Endicott will go on the offense. 1st and 10, its own 20.
And you know, you look at these. They'll do a special on a former player from whether it's the 60s or the 70s. It doesn't make any difference. And that player, for that 30 minutes, was the best at their position ever. And you could, the next week, to have somebody else in the same position, it was the best ever. So you're right, it's all a matter of opinion, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. Here's the handoff left side, and that is going to lose about 4 yards back to the 16-yard line. Nice play by Eric Mimna. As back to make the tackle, and the loss on Andrew Cross.
You know, that was a big play because Mimna just held his ground. He took on his blocker, and at the right moment just shrugged him off, just kind of chucked him away and made the tackle. Nice play.
2nd down and about 14 back at the 17 for Endicott. Endicott's own 17-yard line. Catch by Lewis, getting some of that, actually just about all of the yardage back that they lost before. Stanek on the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 9. That picked up about 6. Endicott has it at its own 21-yard line.
And even though they're still going with the no huddle, you see Endicott taking a little more time in between plays.
Took another look at that pass completion. Lewis comes wide to the left. Fournette back to throw on 3rd down. Steps up, and it's incomplete. Looked like actually there were a couple of receivers over there. It looked like the intended receiver was Greg DeLorco, but there was another receiver in the area. And good job by the defensive unit for the Spartans, as the Gulls will have to punt it away.
Well, you know, it's 26-7, but I just think that the defensive unit for Castleton has had a great game so far, and obviously there's a long way to go here, but I think so far they've done great.
This will bounce in Castleton territory, get a good roll, rushes punt, and it will roll dead at the 28-yard line. It's about a 51-yard punt. Spartans go on the offense. It is Endicott 26, Castleton 7. 6:26 to go in the third quarter. The Spartan scoring came back in the first quarter with 6:26 to go in the quarter. A 46-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Healey, freshman quarterback from Brattleboro, to Kevin Alberg. The extra point for Lineberger, and of course the part of the story for Endicott, 4 field goals for Dylan Rush, including a couple of 42-yarders. Healey underneath center, 1st and 10. Spartans have it at their own 29. That's where they mark it. Nothing there up the middle. A host of goals there in the mid part of the line. Maldonado leading the way.
And, you know, once again, the Endicott run defense is just, they are just rock solid.
That was Ethan Curtis on the carry. He's out, number 39. 2nd down and 9, picked up about a yard. Healey back into the shotgun. And he shoots it down the middle, incomplete, and it was almost picked off about 10 yards beyond. In the area again was Jake Cox, who's already had 2 interceptions, and that was intended for Soren Peltz Walsh. It'll be 3rd and 9 for the Spartans, their own 29-yard line. Nose of the football actually just about at the 30, so that's what we'll say they mark it. 26-7 Endicott out in front with 5:50 to go in the third quarter. It's Alberg in motion right to left. And I believe they took too much time. The play clock, I think, hit 0. Yeah, they did. Delay of game, so they're going to mark it 5 yards back to the 25.
You know, I have to chuckle a little bit, only because, and this isn't out of disrespect for Castleton, but normally they don't come anywhere near the 0 on the play clock. They get up to the line of scrimmage and snap the football, and but it happens once in a while.
So it's 3rd down, about 14. Healey. Play action, and it's incomplete. It was batted away. Tried to go on the little inside screen to Alberg, but didn't get it to him. It was batted away at the line of scrimmage, and the Spartans will have to boot the football away. Soren Peltz Walsh is a freshman from Dummerston, Vermont. He was a high school teammate of Healey down at Brattleboro, Dummerston in the Brattleboro, Vermont area. Lineberger back to boot around his own 10-yard line. Lewis back around the Endicott 45. And the kick is away, and Lewis will make the catch at the 46 and manages to squeeze his way into Spartan territory at the 48-yard line. Elias LeCount there on the tackle for the Spartans. On our post-game show, R.J. Leet here from a Castleton student will be on the post-game show talking to Castleton head coach Mark Klatt. R.J., one thing keep in mind, for one of the questions for the coach, and I know you want in general, about that play where they called it a fumble, which was a key turnover here in the second half, and I'm sure he'll just say that it was what it was, and on we went. But at the time, he wasn't too happy with the call. As we could tell, Walsh bangs his way down to the Castleton 43-yard line, picks up about 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. I mean, it is a big play here in the second half.
Oh,
the
it's
Spartans,
huge.
That one took away a first down. They were on a drive there at the time. Fournette fires in a nice diving catch down at the 32-yard line. And the catch made by Alex Mattis. That picked up 11. It's a first down for Endicott. 1st and 10 for the Gulls. Driving for more, leading at 26-7. Fournette has plenty of time. Shoots it down the middle. And Mattis on the diving catch at the 1-yard line. Great catch.
Well, you know, it goes back to with the arm strength of Drew Fournette and the blocking from the up front 5 of Endicott. You know, that's a real dangerous mixture. Like I said, these guys are just very well drilled. You just can't give a quarterback with the caliber of Drew Fournette that much time to throw the football.
First and goal, Endicott, the Castleton one. That picked up 31 yards. Here's Walsh, and he plows into the end zone. Touchdown, and the Gulls laid it down by a score of 32-7. A 1-yard touchdown run for Spencer Walsh with 4:29 to go in the third quarter. And they certainly have been impressive here in the second half.
Well, that's the first touchdown today for Spencer Walsh, and he has been the workhorse for the Endicott offense, obviously coming out of the backfield. And, obviously a well-deserved TD. He's been a punishing runner all afternoon, and good for him to get a score.
Here's Rush. These extra points have to be a piece of cake for this guy. And, that's a piece of cake with a lot of frosting on it. It goes way over the crossbar.
It would still be a struggle for me. I know that.
33-7 Endicott. 4:29 to go in the third quarter. As look at some of the crowd here on opening day at Spartan Stadium, and it's been I think a valiant effort for the Spartans. Still a ways to go. 4:29 in the third quarter, but all in all, if you're looking at it for the Castleton point of view, and I'm only bringing it up as far as that fumble or not to say it's a game changer or anything like that. It's just that the Spartans were driving at the time, and don't get me wrong.
It was a drive changer.
Don't get me wrong. Obviously, Endicott has dominated this game, but
yeah. But still, your point is that Castleton was marching down the field, and they were clicking on all cylinders. Everything was going the way they wanted to go, and But I think you're right. I think Coach Klatt would probably just say, "Hey, what are you going to do about that?"
That certainly isn't. Let me answer for him. It certainly doesn't cost us the game or anything like that. Yeah. But nevertheless, it was at the time fairly big as
sure.
Totsko returns it out to the 24-yard line. The Spartans go on the offense, 1st and 10. Michael Totsko, a sophomore. This is a young team, and it's just the second game of the year. RPI will be the opponent next week. RPI, I thought I might have said earlier RPI was playing. Is RPI playing Norwich today, or is that, or is it St. Lawrence? RPI played Norwich last week. I beg your pardon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Norwich is opening up today against St. Lawrence at home, the brand new facility at Norwich. Higley still in a quarterback, being pressured back against the grain as he keeps and manages to pick up some yardage as he gets it out to the 27. Picked up close to 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, Tyler Higley is doing the right thing by looking downfield. I mean, he wants to get the ball, obviously, like everybody else in green, wants to get the ball into the end zone, but still, he's just not throwing it down just to throw it. He's making good decisions by taking the ball down and gaining positive yards.
There's a throw far side. Nice catch at the 32-yard line by Alberg, and then he immediately got bounced out of bounds. Picked up 5. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 for the Spartans. Bounced out of bounds by Eric Wynell. Tyler Higley. Center is Andrew Bredding. And Alberg couldn't hang on, and they have to call that incomplete, don't they?
Yes.
It is incomplete. Okay. That was not a catch.
No. And Kevin Alberg took a pretty good shot right then.
4th and 2. And they are going to punt it away. Spartans have it at their own 32-yard line.
Well, 4th and 2. You're on your own 37-yard line. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third, and you're down by. You need some scores. Good choice to put the football away.
Weinberger back, and he gets the kick away. And the fair catch is called for at the 40-yard line by Nate Lewis, and the Gulls will go on the offense. Endicott has a 33-7 lead. Clock moving, coming down on the 3-minute mark to go in the third quarter.
Well, you know, the other thing, Jack, is Endicott is they're very fluid. It doesn't look like there's a lot of effort. You know, Fournette's a great quarterback. The receivers are, I mean, just their hands are just incredible. The up front blocking has been just solid all afternoon, and you know, you can understand why they were picked number 1 in their conference for this year.
And off straight ahead and squeezing his way for about a yard to the 42-yard line for Endicott, right into traffic. That was Walsh who scored the touchdown from a yard out for the previous Endicott touchdown. 2nd and 9. Endicott at its own 42-yard line. On second thought, RJ, never mind about the question. And the more I think about it, the more I'm saying, I guess I wouldn't ask the question now. Forget it. The more I thought of that, Jim, the more I thought, well, okay, if the game ended 7-6, that'd be one thing. So.
Yeah, you know, yeah, if that was the last drive of the game, and
yep.
you know, and all that, then yeah, I'm sure you
working as we go along here.
You know, it's funny. You probably wouldn't have to ask Coach Klatt the question if that was the case. He might just offer information.
I'm not sure what that announcement was. What was it? Is it about the clock?
Yeah. I think they're trying to reset it back. Okay.
2:13. Okay, that's
okay.
what it was. 25 seconds of the play clock.
There we go. Now we're all set.
Drew Fournette from New Bedford, Massachusetts. Done a nice job. You know, they always talk about managing the game and things like that. He's done a wonderful job.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing about Drew Fournette is that he's managing the game, the way he picks his receivers. He knows when he has to absolutely laser the football in, but there's a difference between lasering it in and forcing it in, because when he lasers it to the receivers, they're open, but he just knows he has to put a lot more mustard on it, and he certainly does. There's no question about his arm strength.
Spencer Walsh, the workhorse running back, bowls his way for 9 and I was going to say a first down, but they're going to say down at the 50-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a yard for Endicott at the 50.
And you can see, Jack, how Endicott is just there. You look at the play clock going down 16, 15, 14. They're not in any hurry, and they shouldn't be. Up 33-7.
Brannigan is in wide to the left. Couple of wideouts to the left. There's a slot left. And again, Walsh on the call. First down and more. Bangs his way to the Spartan 41-yard line. Picks up 9 in the first down. Eric Mimna on the tackle for the Spartans with a minute to go in the third quarter. And Endicott is out in front 33-7. You're talking about looking at the play clock. It's down to 10 now. They're just about taking all the time off the play clock each time here. Down to 3. Walsh on the call. Nothing up the middle. Takes it to the far side. 35-30. And finally out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Picks up 11 on a first down. 1st and 10 for Endicott.
But not only did Spencer Walsh pick up 11 yards, he just ran over Derek McAdoo. I mean, like I said, Spencer Walsh is a big, strong. He's just a power runner. He's north-south, nothing fancy, and he just proved his strength right there.
They're going to let the time run down here at the end of the third quarter. When we come back, it'll be Endicott 1st and 10 at the Castleton 29. After 3, our score, Endicott 33, Castleton 7. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
theater and music,
radio and TV,
internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
and lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.